Shalom Israel, and welcome to another edition of Yasharah's 20-minute breakdown, where I'll attempt to break down the scriptures within 20 minutes. But first and foremost, as always, you know how we do by now, we give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Waha, Rakah, Kadash, and the Yakims and the elders in the highways and byways pushing this word in truth and sincerity. All praises. And the elder women teaching the younger women. All praises to you too. And the camps and the solo brothers going out there, making videos, edifying the body, pushing the truth according to scriptures. All praises. Now, what I want to touch on today is this thing about loving everybody. That's what I want to touch on today, because I was watching a brother's lesson recently, and this is what inspired me to do this lesson. Now, the brother was teaching our people, the people that don't know they're Israelites, teaching them that they are Israelites through the prophecies and the curses that in Deuteronomy chapter 28, that proves we are the descendants, the physical descendants of Jacob, not no spiritual nothing, physical descendants of, Jacob. Now, while he was teaching, as usual, somebody says, when he was teaching, showing that the people that was listening, showing that the Bible, the blessings, the everlasting life, the kingdom is for Israel. Rulership is for the Israelites and no other nation. Then this lady says, when he was showing this, he wasn't just saying this, he was actually showing this with scriptures, which you can't get around. That's what he was doing. Then, as always, a woman in the crowd says, what about the other people? Now that made me think there. What about the other people? And I like the way how the brother handled it. He said that was a good question, and he answered it. But when you look at it, what about the other people? Yeah, what about the other nations? Now, this was my issue with that statement. Yeah, you can say it's a good question, because now you can teach what happens to the other nations. But here's the thing. We always so concerned with the other nations. And that was the point, like what hit me. We're always concerned on loving everybody. Why? Because of verses like Matthew 5:44, where the Mashiach Yahushua says, but I say unto you, love your enemies. Now, we've been taught by our enemies that means to love everybody no matter what they're doing to you. But do you know why you don't know what that verse actually means? Because you don't open this and read it. See, you think you're obligated to love everybody. The Most High don't hold you accountable for loving everybody on the planet. The Most High holds you accountable for loving your brother, your own people, your brother, your sister, your nation. But you know why you don't know that? Because you don't open this. You let your oppressor tell you what that verse means, but you don't open this. That's why you don't know what that verse means. And the funny thing is, as the sister said, what about the other people? Now, check this out. When the so-called Jewish man, those Caucasian people with them hats and their little tassels and whatever, when they were getting reparations, did they ask, what about the black man? When Elam, the Arabs, got their reparations, did they ask, what about the black man? When these other nations would be getting reparations and for so-called atrocities they went through, did they ever say, what about the black man? Was that ever mentioned or considered But yet you always ask about everybody else, but nobody asks about you. When the Jewish man was given that land of Israel, after, remember, it was his ships and he funded the slave trade. Did he say, oh, black people's been waiting over 500 years for some form of reparations? What about them? They never considered you. But yet, you always consider them because you have this notion to be the bigger person. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I forgive you. I love everybody. It doesn't matter. But it does matter. They're not showing you no love. Look at this kingdom now. The Caucasians are ruling, They put laws in that suits them. They put us into neighborhoods that are socially deprived, no jobs, unclean water, the worst foods. Do they ever say, what about you? They give you no thought whatsoever. But yet, you're so concerned in what happens to them. Now, I'm going to start my time in a minute. I'm going to actually start reading this lesson from Matthew chapter 5 verse 44, where Yahushua says, love thine enemy. Why does he say that? You got to remember, Yahushua, the one you call Christ, was only teaching Jews, Israelites. That's only people he was teaching. So how lopsided would that be if he was telling you to love the other nations, but was only teaching you to love the other nations, but not teaching the other nations to love you? Can you see how, unequal that would be if that was the case? Yahushua, the one you call Christ, was trying to teach you, Israelites, to love Israelites. That's what he was teaching. To love your people. And when he was teaching, he was really taking it from Leviticus chapter 19, from Deuteronomy, from Exodus. All that he piled up together and summed it up in Matthew chapter 5 verse 44. That's what he did. But we're going to read that verse, and then we're going to read verses where he was summing it up from, where he's quoting from. And he summed it all up from these places. He summed it all up. That's what we're going to do. So with that said, I'm going to start my timer. And I'm going to start with Matthew chapter 5 verse 44. I'm going to start my timer in 3, 2, 1. Boom, we're away. Let's go straight into Matthew chapter 5 verse 44, and it reads, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Now, that's the word of Yahushua. Remember, he only was teaching the Israelites. You can read that in the book of John, chapter 18, verse 20. I'm not going to read that. I'm going to leave you some work to do. Watch this, I'm going to jump to Leviticus chapter 19, verse 16 to 18. Listen to this. This is the law. So this is what the Mashiach Yahushua, this is what he knew. So when he was saying love your enemies, he's quoting a law. Watch this. I'm going to read the law in Deuteronomy also. Watch this, and then I'm going to back that up with the law in Exodus. Same thing. Listen to this. Leviticus chapter 19 verse 16, and it reads, thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. It doesn't say all people, among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. So you see, you shouldn't be going telling tales amongst your people, or stand against the blood of your neighbor. You see one of your brothers in difficulty, you're supposed to go and help him. Remember, Moses did that. He killed the Egyptian that was like giving an Israelite, one of his brothers, problems. Remember? Remember, he killed him and hid his body in the sand. Now watch this, verse 17 of Leviticus 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thine brother in thine heart. See that? You got to love your enemy. So you can't hate him in your heart, in your mind. Yeah? Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. So you correct him and not suffer sin upon him. So you correct him and try not to let him break the commandments if you see him in error. Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge. So if he's done you something, you don't avenge what he's done to you. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge. So you see that? You've got to love your enemy. Against the children of thy people. See, it doesn't say all people. It says, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh, I am the Lord. So that's your neighbor, is your children against thy people. Your people, that's your neighbor. Now watch this. I'm gonna back that up again. Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 1, and it reads, thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. Now see how it shows you there? Thy brother. Yeah? Now watch this. Exodus chapter 23 and verse 4. If thou meet thine enemy's ox, you see? Thine enemy, in Deuteronomy 22 and 1, it said thine brother. Same thing is said, but showing you if he's your enemy, which is your brother, because you can have enemies of your own people. So showing you, if thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. Now you see that? Showing you when Yahushua was saying, love your enemies. He was talking about the enemies of your own people. He's not talking about the enemies of, the people that hate you of other nations. He wasn't talking about that. Yeah? Because how can somebody be raping you, whipping you, and slaughtering you, splitting up families, selling your children, sleeping with your wife whenever it sees fit for him, sending you out to work from sunrise to way past sunset, and if you haven't done enough work, you get a whipping, give you food that they know is abominable to you, but you must love them. Does that make any sense? Because that's not what Yahushua was teaching. But do you know why you don't know that? Because you don't open this. You let somebody tell you what's in this, rather than open it and reading it, or learning from somebody who is actually keeping the commandments and reading it verbatim and giving the correct understanding through precept upon precept. That's why you feel obligated to love everybody. The Most High don't require you to love everybody out of every nation. He requires you to love your people. But why you don't know this? Because you don't open this. That's why. Now, let me read fully in this Deuteronomy chapter 22 and read fully in Exodus 23. Watch this. Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 1, and it reads, thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. Verse 2, and if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, so if he's not near you, or if thou know him not. See that? So it's a brother, you might not know him. So he's someone of your own nation, but you don't really know him. And thou know him not. Then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seek after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. Verse 4, I'll jump to verse 4. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. So you see that? Showing you that that's how you love your brother as yourself. And that's how you love your enemies. Because watch this. I'm going to jump to Exodus chapter 23, verse 4 into 5. Watch this. If thou meet thine enemy's ox, same thing what it said in Deuteronomy. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. Verse 5. If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. So you see exactly what it said in Deuteronomy. But there it said brother, here it says enemy. And that's what the Mashiach Yahushua Christ was teaching. Yeah? Now watch this. I'm going to jump to the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verses 21 to 22. And it reads, verse 21, if thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. Verse 22, for thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head, and Yahweh shall reward thee. So it shows you that when you do good to your enemy, there's a point he's going to think to himself, you know what, why am I hating this guy? This guy does good for me. He ain't rendered me evil for evil. He's actually, and things like this would help our community to thrive and grow and come back together. Because you remember that the guy who started the FBI, the first director, he said when he was asked what is the most feared thing that could disrupt the American, his answer was, I'm just paraphrasing quickly, his answer was Negro unity. They fear if we come together as a people, yeah, and be back one as we are supposed to. Now, this is how you know as well. This verse is teaching you about enemies of your own people. Because watch this. This is 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 9. This is when Saul, the first king of Israel, went out with David and they battled. When they came back, just a quick history, people were dancing, singing that David killed in his 10,000s and Saul killed thousands. And from that, Saul was wroth because they had put David in a higher esteem than him. So from that point, Saul hated David. Yeah. Now watch this. 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 9, and it reads, and Saul eyed David from that day and forward. So you see, from that day, Saul had an evil eye towards David. Remember, they're both Israelites. So, David is from the tribe of Judah. Saul is from the tribe of Benjamin, I think, if I remember correctly. But you see now, love thy brother, as thyself. And, love thine enemy. But watch this. Because remember, David shows that love even though Saul was his enemy. David still showed that love to Saul. That's what the scripture's talking about. Watch this. 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 29. And it reads, and Saul was yet the more afraid of David, and Saul became David's enemy continually. So you see that? So there is the point there. So you see, Saul hated David. He became David's enemy. But what? David never stretched his hand against Saul. Not once. Yeah? Now I'm going to jump to 2 Samuel chapter 4, verse 8 to 10. Watch this, yeah? 2 Samuel chapter 4, verse 8, and it reads, and they brought the head of Ishbosheth unto David to Hebron, and said to the king, behold, the head of I can't even pronounce that, Ishbosheth, the son of Saul's enemy, which sought thy life. And Yahweh has avenged my lord the king this day of Saul and his seed. But listen to this, verse 9. And David answered Rehab and Bahan, his brother, the sons of Rimmon, and Rebosheth, and said unto them, as Yahweh liveth, who has redeemed my soul out of all adversity. Listen to verse 10. When one told me, saying, behold, Saul is dead, thinking to have brought good tidings. Because remember that guy of another nation came and made out he killed Saul, and thinking he was going to get a reward, thinking that, okay, David would be pleased because that was his enemy. Watch this, yeah? Thinking to have brought good tidings, I took hold of him and slew him in Ziklag, who thought that I would have given him a reward for his tidings. So it's showing you, see, David showed much love for his enemy, even though Saul hated him. And that's what Yahushua is teaching, yeah? Now, watch this, yeah? I'm going to read 1 Samuel chapter 26 verse 8 and 9 to further prove that point. Watch this. 1 Samuel chapter 26 verse 8 into 9, and it reads, 1 Samuel chapter 26 verse 8. Then said Abishai to David, the Most High has delivered thine enemy into thine hand this day. Now therefore let me smite him, I pray thee, with the spear, even to the earth at once, and I will not smite him the second time. So he's going to say, he was just going to boom, one straight through with his spear. But listen to what David said. Verse 9, and David said to Abishai, destroy him not, for who can stretch forth his hand against Yahweh's anointed and be guiltless? So you see, he had the opportunity to kill Saul, but he didn't. He said, you know what? Leave him to the Most High. The Most High will deal with him how he see fit. That's loving your enemy as yourself. That's loving your neighbor as yourself. Yeah? That's loving those who persecute you and despitefully use you, still showing that love to him. That's exactly what David did. But you know why you don't know you're not obligated to love the other nations? Because you don't open this. You're not obligated to love people that hate you, of the other nations that hate you. You're obligated to love your own people and show them good, even though they try to show you evil, to reap coals upon their head. And that's exactly what would happen, because that's what it would do. Now watch this, yeah? I'm going to jump to 1 Maccabees chapter 11 verse 21. Listen to this. 1 Maccabees chapter 11 verse 21, and it reads, then came ungodly persons who hated their own people. You hear that? Went unto the king and told him that Jonathan besieged the tower. And that's the thing now. Just brought that to show you that is the problem in our nation. Because even in slavery, when you had a slave revolt, what would you have? Our own people run to master and show the revolt that's going to happen. And what happens is now they stop the revolt, and whereas you now could have benefited from that revolt and be freed, no, you're happy being a slave and serving master and informing master on the revolt that the slave was going to have an uprising. So you made sure master was prepared and stopped that revolt, yeah? So you got a little reward, but your brothers got put to death, yeah? And you were okay with that. These are the things Yahushua is teaching against. Yeah? Now watch this. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 14, and it reads, and it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. Listen to this, they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one unto his own land. Now, I want to leave it there, because that's the whole point of this lesson. Love your own people. Stop always worrying about the other nations. Worry about your people. Worry about you repenting. And worry about your people repenting. Because the sooner our nation repents, is the sooner we'll be out of here. You wait for the other nation to join hands with you and this and that. All the other nations are going to do is keep you in sin so they can constantly stay in rule, stay above you, stay ruling over you, living in the best places, eating the best foods while you're still getting the worst education, still in the slums. And when you look at it, right, watch this as well. Let me quickly say, and this is how you know the injustice, because other people, like other nations, can come to this country, let's say England. You can come from anywhere else, come to this country and get a business loan and open a business in our community, yeah? And make money. But us, as so-called black people, we can't get business loans. Do you know the loans we will get? We will get like what you call a debt loan, like to buy a house so you could be in a mortgage, to buy a car, yeah? So you get finance and things like that. We'll get them loans. Why? Them loans keep you in debt. Now you have to work forever to pay them off. They won't give you a business loan where now you can, because business loan repayments are different. Yeah, they're set up differently. So other people can come and get a business loan, set up in your community, make money to feed their family, and make money off of you, feed their family, and they're good. Us, we only can get a repayment loan, a debt loan, so you're in debt. So think about that, and then you're worried about everybody else. Everybody else ain't worried about you. So with that, I hope I made sense and you got some understanding. This is Yasharallah. We out.